investment. So let's go across to Harsh Roongta of apnapaisa.com, and he's waiting by to answer all our personal finance queries. Afternoon, Harsh. Thanks for joining us. A lot of people, wonder whether to completely discharge their liabilities before they start investing, or should the two go in tandem? For example, if someone has a home loan with a tenure of say 10 to 20 odd years, so what would you recommend? What portion of this loan should be discharged before they start investing?
So I think basically two things. Typically, as a thumb rule, if you have a loan and it's at a high rate, then investing while you still have that liability makes no sense. Just one exception to that, especially a home loan, especially if it's for a self-occupied property up to 15 lakhs, because of the tax break that you get, the effective post-tax cost is low, around 7%. Therefore, if you have a home loan or in some cases an education loan, again because it is tax deductible, the effective interest rate is low. With these two exceptions, I think you should first pay off your loan and only then invest. But within these two exceptions, obviously it makes sense for you to continue to have these loans in most cases while you invest, and especially if the investment is on a systematic basis over long periods of time in instruments like equity, which gives you a high return, especially if done systematically over long term.
Fair enough, sir. That's welcome advice, I'm sure, for many of our viewers. One of them is calling us. Gaurav Kejriwal is calling from Mumbai. Go ahead, Gaurav. What's your question?
My wife and I have jointly purchased an apartment for investment purposes. Since we both are in our 30s, we managed to get a home loan with a tenure of about 20 years and an EMI of approximately 15,000 rupees. We also invest 15,000 each in mutual funds, and we have other investments for tax saving purposes. My question is that if we prepay our home loan, wouldn't we lose out on the tax saving which is allowed on the interest component of our EMIs?
Okay, well,
so what should I do?
Yeah, point taken. Harsh, if they prepay part of their, home loan, they could still reduce the number of EMIs, but keep the EMI at 15. In which case, they avail of tax benefits now. What should the strategy be?
No, so in their case, I think again, because the EMI is 15, I assume the loan amount is 15 lakhs or thereabouts. And therefore this interest is completely deductible, irrespective of whether the house is used for self-occupation or whether it is given out on rent. And therefore I think in their particular, in your case, it makes sense. Just continue with the home loan and continue to do a systematic investment plan rather than prepay the loan. If you have a lump sum and you want to invest in equity, don't do it all at once. I mean, just put it into a liquid fund or an income fund and transfer it over time, 12 months, 24 months into equity. But for you, probably it makes sense to continue to have the home loan and invest this for the long term in equities.
All right. I hope that answers your question, Gaurav. And Harsh, thanks so much for joining us. Just as we slip into a break, let me tell you what's on the agenda tomorrow, on Monday.